Hey guys, today we dive into a chilling mystery that stretches across galaxies, civilizations, and time itself. Imagine this: a team of space researchers equipped with the most advanced technology and backed by the vast knowledge of 1,000 alien worlds embarks on a mission to uncover the secrets of ancient long-dead civilizations. They study the ruins of forgotten planets, the records of extinct species, and the remnants of technology so advanced it defies comprehension. And as they dig deeper, they uncover something that will change everything. Every civilization, no matter how powerful, left the same exact warning about Earth. You probably won't survive this unless, of course, you're prepared to face the dark unknowns of the universe. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Now let's get into it. This team of elite researchers, consisting of scientists, archaeologists, and a few soldiers assigned to protect the team, is on the hunt for something. What they don't know is that the search they're embarking on will lead them to an answer far darker than they could have ever imagined. The ancient civilizations they study are long gone, wiped from existence by forces they couldn't understand, forces they couldn't control. But as they sift through the debris of these lost cultures, a pattern begins to emerge. Every civilization, every species that had once thrived across the galaxy had left behind the same cryptic message. They were protecting something worse. At first it sounds like just another cryptic warning, an echo of fear passed down by species that had perished. But as the team digs deeper into the records, they realize something disturbing. The message wasn't just a vague, meaningless warning. It was a warning about Earth. Every dead civilization, no matter how advanced or ancient, knew something that humanity's future scientists had yet to even suspect. Earth was hiding something, something worse. The team sat in silence, each member absorbing the weight of what they had just discovered. The message was always the same: no matter the civilization, no matter the technology, each one had left behind a final warning about Earth. Their advanced records, deciphered from the remnants of ruined planets, shared a single thread. Earth was not just another planet in the universe. It was a place of great importance, a place that guarded something so dangerous that every ancient civilization, no matter how powerful, had died trying to either exploit or protect it. Dr. Selena Miles, the lead researcher, leaned over the digital display in front of her, her fingers tapping the holographic interface as she scrolled through data retrieved from an ancient archive on a planet far from Earth. "It's the same warning again," she muttered under her breath. "They all mentioned something about guarding it. But what is it?" Her colleague, Lieutenant Mark Nolan, the team's security officer, crossed his arms and stared at the swirling data. "They all mention Earth, but no one specifies what's actually here. What is it that has the entire universe terrified?" Selena rubbed her temples, her mind racing. They'd gathered fragments of ancient knowledge from dozens of dead worlds. The Zyryltians, a species capable of manipulating gravity itself, had been the first to leave their warning. The Eldarans, an ancient race of beings made of pure energy, had followed their warnings, etched into the walls of their dying civilization. And then the Trilothians, whose technology allowed them to travel across dimensions, had left behind similar notes. But there was always the same chilling phrase: Earth guards something worse. The team had come across the message in the most unexpected of places: a ruined city on an abandoned world. It wasn't just the words that were unsettling, but the fact that so many different species had shared this identical message. Their advanced technologies, their knowledge of the universe, yet they still couldn't answer the question of what Earth was guarding. No one had dared to come close enough to find out. "We need to look at Earth itself," Selena said, determination in her voice. "We've been chasing shadows, but the answer is on Earth. We need to find what they were all afraid of." As the team set their sights on Earth, they began to track down any anomalies related to the planet. They found strange cosmic phenomena, disturbances in space-time shifts in gravitational fields, and energy readings that were entirely unexplained. It wasn't just that the planet was isolated. Something was being hidden, and whatever it was powerful enough to scare the greatest civilizations the galaxy had ever known. Selena's team began to focus their efforts on finding a connection between Earth and these strange phenomena. The deeper they dug, the more they uncovered signs of long-forgotten technology buried deep within Earth's history, something ancient, possibly linked to the planet's very origins. But the deeper they went, the more they felt watched. Strange encounters began to occur. One of the researchers, Dr. Liam Horner, reported hearing unexplainable sounds late at night in the base they had set up on Earth. At first they dismissed it as simple paranoia, But as the weeks wore on, more and more odd occurrences began to follow. Who or what was watching them? The first real breakthrough came when they uncovered the existence of an ancient vault hidden beneath the planet's surface. No one had ever seen it, and records about it were scarce. But based on the growing list of inexplicable readings, Selena hypothesized that this vault was the key to understanding the threat the universe had been hiding for so long. This vault, Selena began turning to the rest of the team, is where they've been hiding it, whatever it is. It's the only logical explanation. The vault was said to be protected by an artificial intelligence system, likely set in place by one of the many civilizations that had tried and failed to contain whatever lay within. The vault was a mystery locked away in an isolated location on Earth, its coordinates scattered across ancient texts, encoded in a language no one had ever fully deciphered. But one thing was clear: something in that vault had terrified the entire galaxy. And now the research team was closer than ever to unlocking its secrets. But as they prepared to make their final approach, strange things began happening. Messages from the vault previously inactive began to pulse through the team's communication systems. Static-filled, unintelligible sounds morphed into clear words. Stop. You're too close. You won't survive. The warning echoed in Selena's mind as the team gathered around the control center, the holographic display flickering with the cryptic message. The words sent a shiver down her spine. Stop. You're too close. You won't survive. Mark Nolan, the military officer, furrowed his brow, his hand instinctively resting on the sidearm holstered at his waist. Is that a threat or just a warning? I don't know, Selena replied, her voice tight with uncertainty. But I'm not backing down. We came this far and we can't turn back now. We're too close to the truth. The team exchanged uneasy glances. No one had expected Earth to be so guarded, so tightly protected. For centuries, humanity had lived obliviously on the surface, completely unaware of the cosmic forces that had been watching over them. But now, as they neared the vault, the message seemed more like a desperate plea than a warning. Selena's hand hovered over the controls, preparing to initiate the final sequence to open the vault's doors. She had all the coordinates, all the data. She had a team of brilliant minds, the best technology the universe could offer. But one question lingered. What was it? What could possibly be so dangerous that it could bring the galaxy's mightiest civilizations to their knees? As the control room hummed to life, the ancient systems of the vault sprang into motion. A series of intricate glowing symbols began to illuminate the walls, casting an eerie glow across the room. The vault had been dormant for millennia, and now with one push of a button, it was awakening. Then came the strange phenomena, something unexplainable, something that chilled every member of the team to the bone. At first it was small, a shift in the air, the sudden sound of a distant hum, like the planet itself was resonating. Then the room's temperature dropped. The faint whisper of voices filled the air, barely audible but unmistakable. One by one, team members felt the sensation of being watched. Mark's hand tightened on his gun. What the hell is happening? This place, it's alive. Selena didn't respond. Her focus was entirely on the vault's interface. The strange symbols on the walls began to rearrange themselves, as if the vault was communicating with them, adjusting to their presence. Suddenly, the floor trembled beneath their feet. The control panels blinked, and the screens showed erratic patterns. For a moment, they all thought it was a system malfunction, but the reality was far worse. The vault was responding to their approach in a way no one could have anticipated. The message wasn't just a warning, it was a reaction. And then it happened. A powerful burst of energy erupted from the core of the vault, sending shockwaves through the team's base. The lights flickered, and a loud mechanical screech rang through the air. The vault doors slowly began to open, revealing a swirling darkness beyond. Selena stepped forward, heart racing, as the team collectively held their breath. The swirling darkness felt like a living thing, deep, cold, and ancient. It wasn't empty space. It was filled with something that exuded a sense of foreboding, a power too immense to fully understand. I don't think we're supposed to be here, said Dr. Liam Horner, his voice shaking with both awe and fear. Mark stepped up beside Selena, his usual confidence replaced by a rare hesitation. Is this it? What is this thing? Before Selena could answer, a new voice rang out, not from any of the team, but from the swirling darkness within the vault. You have disturbed the tomb. It cannot be undone. The voice was not human. It was not even from any known species in the galaxy. It felt ancient, something older than the civilizations that had long perished. And in the sound of it, there was a finality, a warning. Then the temperature dropped even further, and the lights dimmed to almost nothing. The air grew dense, as if the very atmosphere was heavy with ancient power. The sense of being watched grew stronger, and for the first time the researchers felt true fear. Before anyone could react, a flash of light blinded them, followed by the sensation of something pulling at their very beings, something far beyond their comprehension. The entire control room seemed to warp, twisting like a distorted reflection in a broken mirror. Time and space felt like they were bending, collapsing under the weight of this ancient force. The researchers realized too late that the vault was not just a containment for some artifact or weapon. It was a prison, and whatever had been locked away for so long was now waking up. The lights flickered back on, and the room was silent again. But the air felt different, heavier. They weren't alone anymore. Selena slowly turned to her team, her face pale with the realization of what they had done. We've awakened it, she whispered, barely able to believe the words as they left her mouth. Something much worse than any of them could have imagined was now free. The silence that followed was suffocating. The team stood frozen, each member desperately trying to process what had just occurred. The vault's door was now wide open, revealing the swirling mass of darkness that seemed to stretch beyond comprehension. There was no physical form visible, just an overwhelming presence, a force so old, so alien, that it didn't need to be seen to be felt. It felt as if reality itself was bending and warping under its influence. Mark Nolan was the first to break the silence, his voice hoarse. We've made a mistake, haven't we? Selena didn't respond immediately. She couldn't. Her mind was racing, trying to piece together the puzzle that had been thrown into chaos. Everything they had uncovered pointed to the vault being a containment unit, but for what no civilization had ever dared approach it, and yet they had broken the most sacred of rules by unlocking it. And now the very presence of the entity within the vault sent waves of terror through the team. Dr. Horner stepped forward cautiously, his eyes locked on the open vault. This doesn't feel like just a power source. It feels like something was deliberately kept here. This thing was locked away for a reason, and we've just broken the seal. The temperature in the room plummeted once again, and with it a sense of dread. The air felt thick, oppressive, as if something was moving in the shadows. The lights flickered once more, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The gravitational pull shifted, making the team feel heavier, as though they were standing at the edge of an abyss. Suddenly, a voice ancient and unrecognizable echoed through their minds, not through sound, but through the very fabric of their thoughts. You awaken me. Foolish creatures, you are nothing but insects. The voice, deep and guttural, was like nothing any of them had ever heard. It wasn't just a voice. It was an experience, its power, its malice, it wrapped around them like a vice squeezing the very air from their lungs. It wasn't speaking to them in words. It was speaking to their souls. The team's faces paled. Their bodies stiffened. The presence behind the voice was unfathomable. Something beyond the reach of logic, beyond understanding. And as it spoke again, they felt it deep in their bones, a flood of terrifying ancient knowledge. They could feel the force, the overwhelming hunger of whatever lay within that vault. It was alive in a way no being should be, and it was very aware of them. You do not comprehend what you have disturbed. I was the beginning and the end. I am the reason they fell. And now, you will join them. It was the final confirmation the universe's deadliest civilizations, those that had come and gone, had perished because of this thing. Whatever lay inside this vault was not just dangerous. It was the cause of their extinction. And now they had awoken it. Selena shook herself out of her daze, her instincts kicking in, as the reality of their situation settled in. They weren't just dealing with a cosmic force, they were dealing with something that had the power to reshape the very fabric of the universe. The warnings, the desperate pleas to stay away from Earth had not been idle threats. The civilizations that had perished knew exactly what they were guarding, and now it was free. Okay, think, Selena said, her voice trembling but resolute. We need to contain it. We can still stop this. We can still... Before she could finish, the walls of the chamber began to warp again, the air growing colder, denser. The lights flickered and went out, completely leaving the team in complete darkness. The temperature dropped even further, becoming so cold that their breath formed icy clouds in front of them. Then just as quickly, the lights returned, flaring back to life. But the room was no longer empty. In the center of the vault, where once there had been nothing but darkness, a figure now stood. It wasn't humanoid, nor was it even a recognizable form. It was a shifting mass of shadow and light, swirling like a living storm of energy. Its presence filled the room, an aura so vast and suffocating that it felt like it was consuming the very space around it. The being's eyes, glowing with a sickly light, focused on the team. "You are insects. You think you can stop me? I have seen the rise and fall of thousands of civilizations. I will not be bound by your primitive notions of containment." The team stared in stunned silence, paralyzed by the sheer weight of the creature's power. It was not just a being, it was a force of nature beyond comprehension. Their training, their technology, none of it mattered now. They had awakened something that could obliterate them with the mere thought of it. Mark took a step forward, his voice shaking but defiant. We have to stop it. We can't let it escape. The entire universe will be at risk." But Selena knew deep down that they were outmatched. It wasn't just about stopping it, it was about surviving long enough to understand what it truly was. What had it been waiting for? And why Earth? Why had all those ancient civilizations tried to contain it? The being seemed to sense her thoughts, its ethereal form rippling as it moved closer to the team. "You do not understand, but you will," it said, its voice now laced with amusement. "I am the reckoning, and you are the catalyst." And just like that, the countdown to the end of their world had begun. Whatever Earth had been guarding, whatever was now loose, was about to change everything. The question was, would humanity even survive to witness it? As the team stood frozen in the presence of the unimaginable, their once clear purpose was now a distant memory. The cosmic force that stood before them, so powerful and ancient, held the universe in its grasp. It had watched civilizations rise and fall, and now it was free. The weight of their decision, their mistake, pressed heavily on them as they realized the consequences of waking it. The darkness in the vault, once just a whisper of fear, had manifested into something far worse than they could have ever understood. The entity before them was not just a being, not just an ancient power, it was the end. The reckoning that the galaxy's most advanced civilizations had tried so desperately to avoid. Time seemed to slow as Selena and her team faced the cold, inevitable truth. Their lives, the future of Earth, and perhaps the entire universe now hung in the balance. Would they be able to contain it, or had they already sealed their fate? The entity's voice, filled with millennia of rage and suffering, reverberated through their minds, reminding them of their own mortality. They had thought themselves capable of unlocking the secrets of the cosmos, but in doing so, they had unleashed something they couldn't control. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its curiosity, but now that curiosity was the very thing that threatened to destroy them. The air grew thicker, colder, as they realized they might never leave this place alive. They were no longer explorers, they were the last line of defense against a cosmic force that could not be stopped. And the universe had just learned that sometimes the most terrifying thing it could face was Earth.